MDs, this video is only going to you. I'm officially back from London. I got some things I want to share with you. Obviously, we had a crazy November. I'll tell you what I'd be thinking about for December, what's on my mind. Some initiatives, book of the month, some MDs I'm very, very impressed with. And how we did. Prior to me getting into this, let me kind of give you guys an idea what happened in London. I got a lot of messages from many of you guys who watched my interview on London Real. And it was, many of you said it's probably the most vulnerable video interview you've ever seen me do. But we had some interesting people I met in London. But let me tell you what happened. One of the most interesting dynamics of what happened in London that was similar to India was one night we did meetups. And if you saw the video, about 100 people showed up in the rain, by the arches, in London. And as Mario is recording it, everybody's asking questions. It's pouring, it's cold, but no one's leaving. It's craziness. Everyone's kind of getting close to each other. There were so many insurance agents there who said, when is PHP coming to UK? Because we would like to ride through you. First thing it made me think about was the following. I've been saying this to many of you that have been visiting your offices. I said it on EIB's PHPU. I said it when I went to Vargas and spent with them. I said it on East Coast PHPU with Del Valles, Mason, Candy, all those guys. Let me simplify it for you. 500,000 licensed agents is going to be nothing for us to have. Nothing for us to have. UK has plenty of life insurance companies. India has plenty of life insurance companies. They're in there. We can go there like this today. And you know how big these markets are. UK has a lot of money. We're going to give bonuses for some of you to go to these countries and run them. You'll have profit sharing from these states, these countries. That'll be yours. You'll be able to say, I override 9 different countries one day. That's the company we're building. That's why you're here. That's why you put up with this crazy guy that keeps pushing you every single month. Even some days when you're absolutely furious with me, you still know the vision is real. We wake up every single morning to make this thing a reality. And the only challenge I have as a leader, CEO PHP, is to figure out which one of you guys wants to help this thing become a reality. Now, not the ones that say it. I'm actually talking about the people that want to say things and come through. Which of you guys actually wants to do it? Those are the ones I'm looking for. I'm in the recruiting business this season more than ever before. If you thought I was recruiting people, and if you watch my London Reel, you heard me say CEO and Chief Distribution Officer, and I'm looking for the board. I've never, ever been this intentional on who I'm recruiting in 2019. The people I'm recruiting in 2019 will be the ones that'll be like this. If these are the keys, here's the keys. 5 of you. Let's take PHP to the next level. And believe me, you're going to want to be part of that group. And some of you guys that'll be in the middle, you're going to say, man, I want to do this. I want to do that. It's going to be coming down to numbers. It's very simple. I'm looking for those of you guys that want to come through and do this because the things that's taking place with PHP internally, internationally, it's craziness. Now, let me give you some numbers here for you to be thinking about. Number one, at this point, everybody knows we didn't crack 5,000 recruits. We did not crack 5,000 recruits. That week on Thanksgiving, some hierarchies dropped off tremendously. Obviously, without TGA, you know, we wouldn't even hit this number here. TGA was the absolute flag carrier, unequipped. I mean, there is no questions on what TGA is doing right now for PHP. That statement they make when they say we want to be the 50% team of PHP, they're not just saying it. They are actually doing it. I know Marley started saying that a while back, but it's starting to become a reality. They said they're going to be the 50% team. The championship was them. The one thing you do need to know about what happened this month, in the month of November, is our biggest recruiting month increase this year, last year versus this year, meaning January to January, February to February, you know, October to October, July to July, even July to July. This was the biggest increase. We increased by 141% is what we increased last year to this year. It's a big increase that we had. And out of all the recruits that we had, 1189 came from Jose and Marlene Gaitan. Let me say this one more time. 1189 came from Jose and Marlene Gaitan. And that's a very big number. When I say 1189 came from Jose and Marlene Gaitan, here's why it's a big number. Because on the 1189 that I say came from Jose Marlin Gaitan. This is the percentage you need to know about. 642 of it came from Del Toro. 642 divided by 1189. 54% is the lowest in a couple years. Del Toro's used to be 66%, 67%. They're only 54% of the 1189, which is a pretty big deal. That means Jose Marlin are leading the way. They're leading all the chairman's councils right now. They're leading everybody in the company right now. They did 1189. Yesterday alone, there was 1,300 policies that were turned in, biggest closeout ever. We have more people here right now than ever on a Saturday. More people than ever here right now on a Saturday. Processing policies. Book of the month for you guys to put down. And this is required reading for anybody coming to Million Point Base Shop Retreat. But for everybody else, it's going to be the book of the month, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. Some of you guys are saying, well, I've read it before. Many books are not one-time reads. By the way, this is like a 100-page book, 150-page book. You can read it on one sit-down, 1 hour. Anybody going to Million Point Base Shop Retreat, that's your ticket. Your non-MDs, if they don't turn that in at the door, they're not coming inside. Remember this. Million Point Base Shop Retreat, you have to write a paper, 3 paragraphs on what you took away from the book, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and how that's going to help you have a better 2019 than a 2018. Like, what areas did you find? That's what I'm looking for when I see you write it. What leaks did you find in your business with you as a leader that's going to help you become a better leader in 2019? Simply because the couple things that book talks about, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So make sure you buy it immediately. Make sure you don't wait for your Million Point Base Shop Retreat qualifiers to do it. Text them. Make a note right now. Text them one-on-one. Say, this is the book. Here's what you're supposed to read. And you're supposed to write a paper about it before you go get into the Million Point Base Shop Retreat. So don't wait till last minute. Today's a big day for people to read it because Million Point Base Shop Retreat is only 10 days away. Don't wait for that. That's one thing. Now, I'll give you some stuff for us to be thinking about when I say strategies December. Another number to be looking at is what I would suggest all of you guys to be looking at is we beat our prior best in the most base shops doing 10 or more recruits. July may have been our biggest recruiting month ever with 105 base shops doing over 10. But November, we had 107 base shops doing over 10 recruits. Phenomenal job. A couple numbers that are on the line right now is Almaraz is at 979,000 points away. He's at 979,000 points for the year. About to be a calendar Million Point Base Shop. He passed up Pelayo. Pelayo was way ahead of Almaraz by like 300,000 points, but Almaraz passed him up. Pelayo's at 962 calendar. So depending on how Pelayo and Almaraz closed out, Almaraz telling me they hit it, and they'll become a Million Point Base Shop. Here's what's a big deal about both of these guys. Gaitan became the first ever to run a calendar Million Point Base Shop the same year while another person direct to him ran a Million Point Base Shop calendar. It's a very big deal. Vargas became the first to have a rolling Million Point Base Shop while he produces a person to be a rolling Million Point Base Shop, which is Almaraz. And if Almaraz becomes a calendar Million Point Base Shop, Vargas becomes the second leader ever to have a calendar Million Point Base Shop while he runs a calendar Million Point Base Shop. The caveat is Graziani became one to have had ran a Million Point Base Shop in the past before. He didn't run it this year. He's only at 600,000. But to also have somebody direct to him, 50%, same as Vargas, 50%, to become a rolling Million Point Base Shop. If Graziani would have ran a Million Point Base Shop and calendar, he would have also been the second. But Vargas are the second to run a Million Point Base Shop the same year while you produce a Million Point Base Shop. Very big deal, because the key of this business is to set an example, which is what Vargas is doing, which is what Gaitan is doing, and then get other people to also run a Million Point Base Shop, which is what Gaitan did and which is what Vargas are doing with Almaraz. Very excited for that. Great stuff there. Okay. Outside of that, let me continue. Obviously, biggest closeout, couple numbers, which is crazy. Right now, the finals are still going between Gaitan and Del Toro. And then also you have Sapalas going against Vargas. Both very close. Hector and Erica were in Iowa, running and gunning. I know Sapalas, the one thing I got to tell you guys about Sapalas, they probably had their biggest closeout they've ever had. If you were on the Dream Team call, they were called out a little bit this last week about a couple things I want to see them improve. They had their biggest closeout ever in their base shop in the history of their career on a day where Sapala was in San Jose, grand opening with Sisme Avelad and Carmen Diaz and the rest of the gang over there, while Sheena ran the shop. Pregnant had their biggest base shop recruiting ever. Much respect to those guys. But obviously, Vargas are also always going to be closing out. They're just a closeout type of people. Del Toro's, I want to give props to that Del Toro family last name. In this business, I study a lot of people. They were fan brothers. There were a couple of guys that were fan brothers. One brother made, $700,000, $800,000 a year, but the other brother made $250,000. I've never seen Marlene and Gaitan, Jose, and then Hector and Erica, they're both over 600,000. Gaitan's about 700,000, about to cross 750. They're both going to cross 750. I've never seen siblings in the insurance industry for both to cross $600,000 income. This is a first. I've never seen this before. I have so much respect for what the Del Toro family does. For them individually to be competing, much props to those guys. Look what happened end of the month. I just want you to think about this. Gaitan's 324 recruits base shop. My biggest recruiting month ever is 188. I've not even gotten close to 324. Let me say it to you guys this way. I'm a guy that studies history. From the inception of the company I was a part of, till today, no one's ever recruited 324 in a month in the base shop, ever. Most I ever saw were 300. I've never seen 324 in a single month, ever. I don't know what happened with PFS, but I've never even heard anybody do over 324 except for one name in PFS, and that was a guy named Hubert. I've never seen a number like that. Let me put it to you guys this way. What just happened this month with PHP, Jose Marlene Gaitan, this is not a normal thing. Guys, if I'm going to the Million Point Base Shop retreat, if I'm anybody going to the Million Point Base Shop retreat, I am glued next to Jose Marlene Gaitan. I'm telling you right now. And by the way, mark my words, that's not going to be the case with everybody. You'll see people will forget about this. I am sitting right next to them. Even if they're a sideline, I'm sitting right next to them. I'm spending all the time around them and some of the other guys on what they're doing. So watch this. Watch this here. I'm trying to get this, and let me tell you what I'm trying to hold it on to. This thing's a little flimsy. I'll put it down here so it hangs on to this. I'll be right next to them the entire time because of what they're doing today. Let me continue. They did 324. You know who's the number 2 recruiting base shop? Del Toro, 179. Direct to them. Direct to Jose Marlene Gaitan. Between them, they recruited over 500 people. 2 base shops, over 500 people. Never heard that before. Ever have I heard that before. Domination is what you're talking about. Vargas, 163. Number 3. Zapalos, 133. Number 4. Alejandro, 117. Number 5. You know what? 3 out of the top 5 is from the TGA leg. Very simple. 3 out of the top 5 in the TGA leg. 2 out of the top 4 is in Conquistadors. Solis, 103. He leaves Pasadena office, okay, and goes and creates his own identity. And he recruits 103 out of his own office, is what he does. I would love to see Pasadena have pride to produce people in that office doing big numbers. But Solis did it out of his own office. Solis, much respect to you for what you're doing. You are leading everybody on Cornerstone, and you're not even looking back. I had a conversation with you. I challenged you, and you responded. Phenomenal. I want you to know, pay attention to what you're doing, no matter where you're at. Great job. Reyes, 78, record-breaking. Ricky and Erica, 77. Tommy Clark, 76.5. Tommy, I am so proud of you, buddy, on what you're doing in Jacksonville. 76.5 is what you guys recruited. You ought to be so proud of yourself. Vic and Anna, 74 recruits. 74 recruits in a month. Boom. So I guess what you needed was a Hansberry, didn't you? So here's a question for you, Vic and Anna. If you respond very well to beating everybody in the office of Oakbrook, why don't you want to compete with everybody else in the company? Did you need a Hansberry to get you to do 74 recruits in a month and realize what your potential is while Anna's pregnant with a bump? Do you need that? Or do you need to realize that what if I actually start competing nationally with everybody else? Why am I not going after Ricky and Erica? Why am I not going after Rene and Dalero? Why am I not going after Alejandro? Why am I not going after some of these guys? Why not? And by the way, everybody in Oakbrook watching this, he just kicked your butt. Vic and Anna just kicked your butt. Hansberry, what are you going to do? Suazo, Ortiz, what are you guys going to do at Oakbrook? What is everybody going to do? By the way, Avelar, Carmen, those guys coming out of San Jose, they just opened up an office. What are they going to be doing? Richardson, Mason, you got your butt kicked. A lot of these guys in base shop recruiting, the only person in MSM that beat Vic and Anna is Tommy Clark. That's some good stuff right there. Cooper, 69. Cooper had his biggest recruiting month ever. By the way, you know who he beat? Ready? He's going to love this, and he deserves this. He beat Hart. He beat Pembers. He beat Phelps. He beat Eatman. He beat Molina. He beat everybody. He beat every single person in his hierarchy. Everybody. And he was out of town in Seattle while he was doing this still because he got a new director recruit and he's running appointments in Seattle. Len, Tasha, props to you for doing what you're doing. Love it. This is how you gain moral authority. The word you and I spoke about for years, you are finally getting that. I'm very proud of you guys for what you're doing. Delvi is 65. Unofficially, they got they're telling me SVP was it. I'm so excited to see if that thing takes place. I think it'll be the 7th or the 8th director of the company to be an SVP. Eatman, 58. Marroquin, 58. Michael Bryan, 57. Elvana, 53. Almaraz, 52. Zaldo, 49. Castro, 49. Saldana had 48. Some of the guys I was impressed with last month, I just want to tell you, were some of the guys I'm looking at that are not the bigger numbers, but some of the guys on Paulette and Siamak, 42. Biggest recruiting month they ever had. And I think unofficially hit SMD. Paulette, Sia, very proud of you. Just remember, trend. You guys have a big victory. It's a slowdown the next month. And we're all watching to see what happens in December with your base shop. Yes, I said it. It's what happens. You'd fit 42 recruits. 42 recruits. So exciting. Wrist, 42. Great job. Coulthard, 41 is back. Phelps, 41. Trailer, 40. Terrace, 39.5. Bill and Kimberly Corman, 38 out of Maryland. Listen, Corman, I'm telling you guys, I'm excited for you. 38 Gaines, you're back. 38. Graziani, 37.5. Come on, Jason Graziani. One of the best talents I've ever seen in my life. 37.5 recruits in a month where we break our records by 140%. He is so, I mean, Graziani is like the guy that if Jose Marlin can do 324, Jason, Natalie, if you're watching this, Natalie, do you remember that meeting we had? If you're still watching this, do you remember the meeting we had after Inner Circle? Do you remember in that office? Do you remember what you told me? 37.5 isn't doing that. Jason, you, I know you don't like this kind of stuff. I know you don't. I know this kind of stuff bothers you because it's like everybody's watching this, but I've done it with every single person in the company. 37.5 recruits. If Gaitans can do 324, you guys can do 300 plus recruits. I've not met many people, especially now with Natalie. You know, we'll see what these guys are going to do. Honestly, at this point, I don't know how they're going to respond. I hope Jason and Natalie are wanting to compete at the top of the company, not being ranked 32 in one of the biggest months the company's ever had in the history of the company. Watch what Gaitans did. They're leading their entire hierarchy, all their leaders. Del Toro's, all their leaders. Vargas are leading all their leaders. Sapalas, all their leaders. 4 out of the 6 chairman's councils are leading all of their leaders and their entire hierarchy in base recruiting. And that's why all their hierarchy recruiting is growing so fast. Love to see what Jason and Natalie will be doing to respond to this. Marcelo, 36. Kendi, 35. Cobos, 35. Mason, 34. Now Burton, 33. Good job, Burton. Musgrove, 33. Suazo, 33. Good. Alborzi, 33. Elginet, 33. Coming up, Molina, 32. Gerda, 32. Good job, Gerda. Ariano, 30. Good. Hansberry, 30. Good. Nori, 30. Nori, 30. Good. Patino, 30. Alonso, 29. Good, Alonso. Good comeback. Luan, 29. Good comeback. I called you guys out earlier, but you came back. I like that. Cuartes, 26. New direct to Del Toro. Leilon Sebastian, 26. Carmen Diaz, 25. Okay, there you have it. You know, some of the guys I'm looking at, see what they're going to be doing. Now, last day closeout. You ready for this? Jose Marlin Gaetan on the last day of the month had 78 recruits. Solis had 51 recruits. Great job, Solis. Sapalas, 50. Biggest single day ever closeout. Ever. Alejandro, 37. Del Valle, 31. Del Toro, 28. Vic and Anna, 26. Clark, 26. Vargas, 24. Vargas is normally number 1. 24, 8th place. Vargas is 8th place. 8th. It's normally like this. Sapalas doubled you up, Vargas's, on closeout. 50 to 24, just so you know. By the way, 24 is a big number for most people. But Vargas's have set such high standards for themselves that 24 to them, I'm sure they're very frustrated themselves with that number, even though they had a very good month, by the way. Eatman, 21.5, good job. Elvana, Coulthard, 20, good job. Coulthard, 20. 50% of your recruits came on the last day. I want to see more day-to-day stuff versus just the last day. Ariano, 18, nearly 60% came on the last day. I want to see you recruit on a daily basis, but it's still fine. Michael Bryan, Sabatimani, Suazo, K-Part, 17. Castro, Marroquin, 16. William Bowman, 15. Rist, Zaldo, Cooper, Corman, Nori, 14. Leon, Alborzi, 13. Luan, Palmedrano, 12. Lorna, Gaines, Rita, 11. Martinez, Pimber, Burton, Almaraz, 10. Terrace, 9.5. René, Dalila, Saldana, Rojas, Marcelo, 9. Avelar, Palayo, Trailer, Banegas, Madrid, 8. Who else we got? Trujillo, Murguia, Royer, Brenda, Ricky and Erica, Phelps, Molina 7, Gerda, Gordon, Graziani, Ortiz 6, Teresa's, Welch, Quanine, Chapman, Orezi, Audrey, Jackson, Hart, Cerna, Munoz, Castillo, all with 5. Okay, good stuff right there. By the way, hierarchy closeout, Mason at 47, of which only 2 came from his office in Orlando. Mason, this is what we talked about in the last PHP University class. 47 recruits, of which 2 came out of the Orlando office. You guys ready? 40 of that 47 came from Jacksonville. Very simple. And props goes to Jacksonville. 40 out of 47 came from you. That's what you call a flag carrier. But at the same time, you're making a name. Like, we want to have our own name in Jacksonville. This is exactly how you do it. Paulson, what happened? I didn't see you on the leaders bulletin. You guys talked a lot of smack that day I was there. But I'm looking for a response. And I know life happens. Life happens to all of us. Believe me, if I told you everybody's stories here, many of you would replace your life happens with many of these guys. But I'd love to see Orlando respond more. Solis 51. Candy 54. Del Valle 54. I think Candy was 53. Del Valle 54. Gain 62, of which 51 is from Solis. Phelps 65.5. Alanort 67.5. Dana Jones 99. Graziani 108.5. Vargas 116. Del Toro 143.5. Look at this. Cooper 153.5. Sopala 162. Palaio 163, of which 116 came out of Vargas. 116 out of 163 is what? Let's check this out. 115. 116 out of 163 is 71%. 289 is from Gaitan. 143 came from Del Toro's, 49%. Ms. Gaitans are officially no longer relying on one leg, even though that's a massive leg. Everybody would love to have a leg. Every giant builder I know has built a monstrosity leg like that multiple times. They got one. I can only imagine if they build another one as well. Okay, incomes in November, how that ended. You know, it started, I'm always giving updates. Cooper ended number 10, Castillo number 9, Mason 8, Ricky and Erica 7, then Palaio, then Vargas, then Graziani, then Del Toro, then Gaitan, then Sopala. 2 out of the top 3 is from TGA. Watch this. 4 out of the top 10 is from TGA. Let me say this one more time. This is a leg. Gaitan at the top. Del Toro in the top 10. Ricky and Erica in the top 10. Castillo in the top 10. 4 deep top 10 cash flow. I think you may want to spend some time with TG at the Million Point Base Shop Retreat if you are able to attend and go to it. Okay, so what's on the line when you're looking at all this stuff? What's on the line here for December? What would I be thinking about if I'm you for the month of December? A few things you got to be thinking about. Look, here's a reality. Number 1, a casual December hurts your big event. So many of you guys got a Jano San Antonio big event, Jason's event. I'm excited about that one because that's a net EIB event, and they're really ecstatic. I think it's got 800 some registrations. The last meeting we had with them about their big event, I feel that's going to be a very good big event. The East Coast big event is going to be a very good big event. I mean, these guys are coming together and they're rallying. They'll be driving that one. And then West Coast is going to be insane. Obviously, I'm going to be sizing everybody up. You know, when I walk in, I'm watching everyone. Some of you guys have some creative things you're doing yourselves, which is cool. But December hurts your big event. A casual December hurts your big event attendance. A casual December hurts your first quarter. Casual December kills people on the fence. A casual December gets your MDs to be casual. This is what I'm doing in December. You got, you only have 7 biomes, including today. 7 biomes. For those guys that are going to the Million Point Base Shop Retreat, you only have 7 biomes because Christmas is also falls on the 25th. So you add the other one on the Wednesday or you do it on Tuesday. That makes it 8. But you got 7 BOMs, fully BOMs, right? Is what you're looking at. So few items. 1 is vision board. That's this month. Business plan. That's this month. Business plan. This is how I do business plan. And I'm telling you guys, for years, this is how we did business plans. I would make a list in my office, okay? Depending on the size of the office you got. I had an office with a couple hundred people. You had an office with 100 people, and I had an office with 50 people. So different stages. But depending on the size of the office that you have, everybody who's a leader comes to you and tells you their business plan. The key leaders, I'm doing 1 hour with them. But the key leaders may be 5 people. I'm not doing it with 50 people that I'm doing 1 hour. I may do 5 1 hour. I may do 10 1 hour. These are typically the people that are really doing stuff. Like I'm going to have probably 10 strong conversations with the key leaders that are going to bring their business plan. Many leaders call me and they request if they can fly in. I don't do it at the lower level, but at the higher level, if they want to fly in and spend time. Some of them I have day meetings nowadays, or 2 hour meetings, 3 hour meetings. And it'll happen against this year. They'll bring their papers to me. This is what we want to do. Great. We go through it. But during BOM, I am having meetings with my guys, And if I have, let's just say if I'm in the, hypothetically, let's just say if I'm in the Vargas office, I'm Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas. All the rabbits on BOM night, one by one, they come to my office with one-page business plan, and they're 3 no matter what, and what they're planning on doing next year. They're good, bad, ugly. They're focuses. Here's what I'm doing this year. And they come in and they give me their numbers. I ask the following questions. How many butts and seats you're going to have? How many big event registrations you're going to have? When are you going to become an MD? When are you going to get your watch, ring? Whatever those questions are, you'll ask. Specific set of questions that you have. And the top 10, 20 FAs or top 20 non-MDs all keep coming through the office 5 minutes at a time. Next. And they keep coming through the office, especially if it's in the Houston office. I will probably do in the back office, not the one where your office is Rodolfo and Ceci, because it's right by training. I don't want that distraction. I will do it all the way in the back. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Then the key MDs, let's just say the other MDs that are there, Marcelo, Marroquin, whoever's in that office. The rest of the people, associates, are going through them. I am also developing my MDs on how for them to super fast start people on who are the next non-MDs coming up. So if I get the top 20 non-MDs, they get the next 10 non-MDs and the next 10 non-MDs that go visit with them and spend time with Marroquin and spend time with Marcelo. Hypothetically, you can do it in your office any way you want. If it's smaller, you got to adjust it, but that's what I'm doing with that part. At the end of the BOM, myself and the MDs are sticking around with notepads next to me, stack of business plans, and one by one, I'm ranking them, who I'm impressed with the most, and I'm giving everybody feedback. Here's what this person said. This is the commitment that person made. This person said they're going to do this. That person said they're going to do this. This person's doing this. No way. Yes. And we're cross-pollinating. That helps me gauge who to drive in the month of December to make sure I have a big event attendance, big event push, and have a strong December and a strong January. December is very critical for the rest of the year. You look at some of the people this year who didn't run a $1 million point base shop or didn't even run a $500,000 point base shop. Go back and look what happened in December. They were very casual. December dictated their entire first quarter. Don't screw with December. I'm telling you right now, do not screw around with December. Let me give you guys some stats about myself. My entire career, my biggest personal recruiting month ever, for those of you guys that take screenshots of my numbers, go look it up. For some of you guys that took the pictures, go see what's the biggest recruiting month personal ever in my career. You will see. December is my biggest personal recruiting month ever. Why? It's what I saw everybody do. Everybody's like, oh, let me tell you, we hit a number and let's go party and let's go club and let's go do this and let's go blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you guys, and I'm studying Kobe at that time because I'm coming up. When I'm coming up, Kobe was doing what he was doing. I'm like, look what Kobe's doing. And everybody's going to Europe and kicking back. This guy's getting in shape. And he would look at Shaq and he would call Shaq, you're so fat, you're so out of shape. Shaq would get pissed. And look what happened. Career-wise, right? Discipline. All these guys, discipline. And I'm not saying that's going to be everybody, but it's some of it. I would visualize, man, we're recruiting 28 people a month. What if one day we recruit 1,000 people a month? And then boom, we do that. What if one day we have 5,000 people? I used to visualize, what if one day we have 200 people in attendance? What if one day we got 500 people at a convention or 1,000 people at a convention? What if we have 2,000 people at a convention? What we have today, I visualized when I was a peanut. I'm just telling you. And I visualize it in December's. And I know some people are watching and say, oh my gosh, here we go again. Listen, I'm not saying this expecting all of you guys to do what I'm telling you to do. I'm not. If you think I believe all of you are, I'm a fool, and I'm not a fool. But I'm saying this because I know in every category, in chairman's councils, there's a top 20% and there's a bottom 80%. And then there's a bottom 20%. There's that in SVPs, EVPs. Cooper was the bottom 20%. He passed up Diana Joe, then he passed up Phelps, then he passed up, then he passed up Kahindi, and now he's competing with Alejandro for number 1. It's Alejandro number 1, Cooper's number 2, but he was all the way at the bottom. SMD, EMD, MDs. I am trying to get those of you guys that are in the bottom 80% of any category to want to get into the 20. That's the formula. And if you're in the 20, you want to be in the top 5, it's a tougher formula. And if you're in the top 5, you want to be number 1, it's even more expectation if you want to be in that category. And again, I'm not expecting all of you guys to do it. But watch this. One person bought into that concept. Jose Marlin Gaitan. Brought the company 1,200 recruits. One person brought the company 1,200 recruits. Sheena Matsupala bought into the idea of discipline. 3 years in a row. Their 3-star $1 million point base shop calendar. First ever to do it. Vargas has bought into it. I looked at their uplines and I said, what's Cindy going to do? What's Palau going to do? They didn't want to run a $1 million point base shop at that time. But Vargas ran it. And then boom, they did what they did. But next thing you know, Cindy and then Palau was about to become a calendar.
one person, one person, one person. Not everybody, one person, one person. You can always do it if you get one of the guys that buys in. And I'm telling you, because some of you guys are hopefully going to buy. Now, a few metrics to be thinking about. That's that part, right? Vision boards, business plan, movie night, a fun night. I'm spending time with wives. Like I'm having special dinner with the wives, bringing them over, barbecue, you know, food, talking to them, doing all. So yeah, I got a call. The video got cut off. So a lot of dinners with couples, a lot of dinners with the spouses, relationship. I'm doing a lot of those things this month, the month of December. That's some of the ideas I'll be thinking about. A couple other items I'll give you. Exactly how December affects me with the following markers I'll give you right now. You'll see exactly what I'll do. Me, the people in my base shop to reach milestones, my milestones, people in my base shop's milestone, my MD's milestones, and hierarchy milestone. Collectively together, what can we do? Here's some numbers for you to be thinking about. What is still on the line? MD of 2018, still on the line. MD MVP is on the line. If I go right now and look at the Leaders Bulletin for MD 2018, who's going to be the MD MVP of the year, and I go from July to kind of see who's been pushing the hardest, like what are some of the candidates that are looking at for being MD MVP of the year. This is what I'd look at. I would see marketing director Alvana is fighting for it. Almaraz is an MD, fighting for it, right? Michael Bryan is fighting for it. Renee and Dalila are fighting for it. Solis is fighting for it. Vera, Marroquin. These are some of the ones. Marroquin, some of these guys are also fighting for Rookie of the Year. SMD, EMD, MVP of the year. Ricky and Erica. Hart. Del Valle, Hart hit EMD, right? Del Valle is about to cross 250,000. Hart's about to cross 250,000. Who's going to be the SMD, EMD, MVP? Then you got, you know, SVP, EVP. Who's fighting for that one? Then you got the Chairman's Council MVP. You know, it's a race. Gaitan, Vargas, Zapala, Del Toro. It's a very tight race amongst those four, too. Four out of the 6 Chairman's Councils are in the race to be the MVP of the company. Race for top 10 office of the year. Do you want to have that top 10 office thing on the wall to be able to be a top 10 office? Some of you guys are coming up. It's very much of a pride to have that being on the wall. I went to the EIB office. Jason had his #1 plaques from 2010, 2011 on the wall. Very important when you become #1. You keep those things. These are big deals for you to be able to say that you had this. Now imagine if you're #1 today. Imagine if you're #1 base shop today. Imagine if you have those things today and you're fighting for that. Some of you guys who have never been in top 10 office, right? Imagine if you have a top 10 office, you go from no one knowing who you are, you're a top 10 office in 2018. Can you imagine that on the wall? It's a pretty big deal when you put that kind of stuff on the wall. So then you have Rookie of the Year, Comeback Kid, right? What are you fighting for? Pioneer of the Year, top 20 cash flow. I looked at the top 20 cash flow. Let me tell you one of the brackets I'll be looking at. The race for second place is between Vargas and Gaitan. You know what the difference is? $20,000. Whoever makes more in December is probably going to be the #2 cash flow in 2018. It's such a close race. It's interesting going to be which one of them crosses 750 first. Whoever places the business in December crosses 750 first. Then Del Toro's only $20,000 away behind Pelayo. Can you imagine if Del Toro passes? Del Toro already passed Graziani in income by $100,000. But imagine if Del Toro passes Pelayo next. That's a big deal for Erica and Hector if they do that. Cooper and Phelps, it's a race between 15,000 and 20,000. Mason and Almaraz, close race. Ricky and Erica and Alejandro is $13,000. Then those of you fighting to be in the top 20 of recognition cash flow. The difference between these names I'm about to give you between 18th ranked and 12th ranked, the difference is $25,000. Watch this. Candy's currently at the 18th spot. Eatman's at the 19th spot. Chapman's at the 20th spot. Chapman's got a $3,000 read on Michael Bryan right now. If Michael Bryan and Chapman go out in the month of December, Chapman out-earns him, Michael Bryan's going to be number 21. He won't be recognized at the top 20 cash flow. You know who's right behind Michael Bryan? Giovanna and Nicholas Castillo by $11,000. If Giovanna and Nicholas Castillo out-earn Michael Bryan, do you know what Ricky and Erica are going to say? They're going to say, not only did we double your income, which they did, but we had one of our direct MDs that out-earned you. Can you imagine that conversation if that actually does take place? These are pride. Recruiting. Let me give you base shop recruiting. Listen, second half of the year, Gaitans are beating Vargas's in base shop recruiting by 220 recruits. Second half. But Gaitans are behind Vargas by 130 recruits for the year. Depending on what happens December, that could be weird. Del Toro's next, and you look at some of the numbers here. Ricky and Erica are 107 recruits away from being the 5th base shop to do 1,000 recruits this year. 1,000 recruits. They'll be the 5th ever to recruit over 1,000 people in a year base shop. I think the 5th ever. How many people did it last year? Let me look at this so I don't get my 2017. Boom, boom, boom. 2017 last year. MD Base Recruits, how many did it last year? Yeah, Graziani did 993. It was 7 short of 1,000. Ricky and Erica will be the 5th ever to run over 1 million, to recruit over 1,000 people in a year. Then the race is next between Michael Bryan and Pelayo. Michael Bryan could pass Pelayo for the year and be ranked in the top. He'll be in the top 10. Alejandro's 1 recruit behind Michael Bryan. Alejandro's 1. There, Michael Bryan 626, Alejandro 625. Depending on December, dictates whether Michael Bryan will be top 8, top 7, or it'll be a top 10. Eatman's about to be bumped out of top 10. Eatman's at 614.5 recruits for the year. Hart, you're currently number 11. You're at 611.5. You're 3 recruits behind Eatman's. Listen, that's an important one right there. Okay, either Eatman or Hart's going to be top 10. Then you have Del Valle 565, Richardson 526. There's a fight right there, close race. Quanine and Graziani's a race. Kennedy's 1 recruit behind Graziani for the year. Graziani's at 460. Kennedy's at 450. And it'll be the first time ever he out-recruits Graziani. And then Vera's tied with Kahindi. Vera's 1 behind Graziani. Vera could be out-recruiting Graziani. It'll be the first MD outside of Almaraz to out-recruit Graziani for We the People, if that does actually become a reality. Solis is at 446. And then Pimbers are fighting barely to stay in the top 20. Base shop production-wise, you already know for some of the names where they're at. The race is Del Valles are ahead of Ricky and Erica by a bit. Alejandro's only 15,000 points behind Graziani to be in the top 10. The race is Mason's even in that conversation. Elginet and Benny are in that conversation. You know, then it's Mike, Pimber. Somebody could be bumped out of the top 20 and not even be recognized. You can go look at the numbers. The data's out there public for you to watch. Watch the super team recruiting category. Gaitans are 1,425 recruits away from crossing 10,000 recruits in a year. That 8575. Let me put it to you this way. When I was in the former company, my 2 uplines had never recruited 10,000 people in a single year. Never. Never. They'll be the first to do it. For me, as an upline like that. But they'll be the first to do it in PHP. Palao's 985 away from crossing 8,000. Vargas's are 592 away from 5,000 recruits. You know what would happen if you recruit 5,000 people in a year? You would become the 4th hierarchy to ever do it. 1, 2, 3. You become the 4th hierarchy to ever do it. Not 5th hierarchy ever to do it because Del Toro's already crossed 5,000. 5th hierarchy to do it if you cross 5,000. 592 away. By the way, you know what's crazy? Vargas's have already recruited more in 2018 than they recruited from day 1, first 8 years of PHP. They've recruited more this year than they did in the first 8 years of PHP. Let me say that one more time. They recruited more in 2018 than they recruited the first 8 years in PHP. And this is nothing. It's going to be more of it happening for them. You're going to see people making more money in a year than they made the first 8 years in PHP. So that's that number right there for recruiting. Cooper's 597 away from crossing 5,000. Alejandro's 331 away from crossing 3,000. Almaraz 122 recruits away from crossing 1,000. Pelayo and Gaitan for super team points. Pelayo's got a lead right now by 80,000 points. No, what is it? By 80,000 points, he's got a lead. Is that what it is? No, by 120,000 points, he's got a lead on Gaitan's and super team. It's 7.64 million. Gaitan's are 7.558 million. One of them. So now Gaitan's been #1 recruiting hierarchy 2 years in a row, but not super team points. This will be the first year. They'll also be the first super team. It could be a sweep. I mean, it's craziness what Gaitan's are doing. They could sweep in many ways. Sapala's 5.6. Cooper just crossed 5 million points. Cooper became the 4th hierarchy ever to cross 5 million points ever. Before Del Toro's, before Vargas, before Graziani's, 4th hierarchy ever to cross 5 million points. Oh my gosh. Del Toro's are 420 away from crossing 5 million points. Fastest ever to 5 million points as a non-licensed to doing this. Vargas's are 460,000 points away from crossing 5 million. Graziani is only 711,000 points away from crossing 5 million. It'll be a good run for EIB to go on the board council run. And then you have some other names right there that you're looking at the bottom. Alejandro and Phelps are about to pass Cornerstone. It'll be the first time they became SVPs and pass Cornerstone. They're behind Cornerstone. Phelps is behind Cornerstone by 40,000 points. Alejandro is behind Cornerstone by 160,000 points. The key about being an SVP is one by one beating everybody moving up. That's what Del Toro's have done. One by one, they beat everybody and gone up. And now they're the 5th in super team recruits and super team points. So you see what I'm saying right there. We're going to recognize who's going to promote the most direct MDs. Your baseball cards are going to be shown. New baseball cards So you have to look at exactly what I just did with you. You have to look at your own individual metrics. By the way, I can go for 2 hours so I can have more data on how you're going to close out, which I'm going to do at the Million Point Base Shop Retreat. But I want to give you this mindset so you do it from now before you go to the Million Point Base Shop Retreat. Milestones for you to hit, study them all to beat your prior best. Milestone for people in your base shop to hit. There are big deals to it, by the way. You know, you get a non-MD to recruit 100 in a year and they need 22 more. That's a big deal to say you recruit 100 in a year. So if I can sit down and say, hey, the following 8 people are less than 30 recruits away from crossing 100 recruits for the year. The following people are 41 recruits away from crossing 250 in a year. I used to do that all the time. All the time. You can do right now. The following people are 3 recruits away from crossing 24, average of 2 a month. Following are 8 recruits away from crossing 36, 3 a month. 40, there's so many app, points, cash flow, so many ways for you to drive your December. So that's that part. Now, obviously, Dream Team Call, for those guys that will be on the Dream Team Call for the month of December, it's going to be crazy. It's because it's all strategy for 2019, all strategy for 2019. And we're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So I'm excited about Dream Team calls on the conversation about the Dream Team call. Strategy sessions at Million Point Base Shop Retreat will be about the following. A few things you got to keep in mind when you go into the Million Point Base Shop Retreat. For those guys that are going, a few items. I'm going to get a little deeper. One, there's going to be 3 types of people that go to. Those who wing it, they're just kind of going, and they're kind of winging it. Second thing is those who go in that are just trying to protect their argument that here's why I'm better than you, here's why I'm better than you. It's a waste of time because you're not improving. You're just trying to focus on why you did something in the past that you're better than other people. You got to graduate that mindset as a hierarchy and an individual because the company's just outgrowing you. It's outgrowing everybody. So you can't go and just like trying to size everybody up. The company's becoming a company. Everybody's maturing. Yes, we're beating records. Yes, we're driving and competing, all that other stuff. But we're more united than ever before. And I'm telling you right now, more united than ever before. And we experienced at our Chairman's Council meeting when we had it here. We've experienced on some calls. We've experienced on different settings. But we're more united than ever before. So one, you go and winging it. You don't know what questions, clarity. Your people don't know what they're doing. Your people are casual. I don't know the schedule. I don't know this. I don't know that. I'm myself, if I'm running, if I'm you, and I got 8 people going, I'm doing a Million Point Base Shop Retreat conference call and letting everybody know questions about this, get clear about this, get answered this, get, you need help to ask this. I would be spending time with this guy. I'm doing that. And I'm telling you right now, I'm around Gaitans, Del Toros, Vargases, and Sapalas. If I'm you, that's what I'm doing. I'm around them all the time because they're performing today. What's Almaraz doing? Palau's about to become a Cal on the Million Point Base Shop. What are they doing today? So that's that part. And then the third kind of people that go into Million Point Base Shop is those who are going to collaborate and learn from one another. You're going to see how Jose and Marlene ask questions from people that they're ahead of. You're going to see Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas ask questions of people that they're ahead of. You're going to see I dare anybody to try to ask more questions than Matt Sapala at Million Point Base Shop Retreat. Watch. Watch how many questions Matt Sapala asks at the Million Point Base Shop Retreat. So those are those things, finding your leaks, areas to improve, areas to get better. You're always doing that. Look, I already have the packet for this in front of me, and I'm already studying our numbers for myself. I mean, I do this all the time. I'm doing this all the time to kind of see who's improving, who's not, all the time. You got to be doing that as well. So that's that part. Calendar, write this down. In December, it's a technical calendar. Million Point Base Shop Retreat is from 12/10 to 12/14, right? 7 BOMs, you count Christmas Day, 8 BOMs, right? If you do it on Wednesday, that'll be 8. Okay? You have to start thinking about what your office is going to be doing when you're going to Million Point Base Shop Retreat. Now, collaborate with other offices to see what they're doing. Vargas, what are you guys doing? Sapalas, what are you doing? Del Toro, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? So you make sure you don't just wing it. I'm talking to you. By the way, 80% of people are not even watching it at this point. Know that part. But some of you guys that are watching, like, I want to have a better December. You're watching it already to this point, right? Okay. Watch how many people say, I watched 20 minutes of it today. I watched the rest tomorrow and Sunday, and they forget about it. I guarantee you, so many do it, and then they don't know what's going on. But if you're still watching it, what are you going to be doing when you're gone for Million Point Base Shop Retreat? What are you going to be doing? A lot of your people are going to be gone. Who's training? What speaker comes in? Do you know who's not qualified they can bring to your office or do a webinar or do a Skype? Are you going to speak? What are you going to be doing to make sure that takes place? What will be trained on that given day? So your associate count doesn't dip by 50% just because you're gone. What message are you giving? So which non-MDs take lead? Who are you having side conversation with saying, Johnny, I know you didn't qualify to go to the Million Point Base Shop Retreat, but let me tell you something. I think this is an opportunity for you to lead while we're gone. and I want to see you run the office. What do you think? Are you willing to take that responsibility? Yes. What can I expect from you? Who are you going to have that kind of a conversation with? Then Christmas Day falls on Monday. It's a phone zone. Christmas Eve is a phone zone. What are you going to do about that? Christmas Day is a Tuesday. What are you going to do on that Tuesday night BOM? New Year's Eve is a Monday. January 1st falls on the greatest day it can fall. It's a Tuesday. That Tuesday night BOM, if I'm running the base shop today, let me tell you what we would do. Packed house that Tuesday night. Because we're going to be launching, we'll have a video that'll go out on the first thing in the morning, but Tuesday night, you're going to be having your own meetings. You're going to be having your own strategy sessions. That's like an area-wide craziness, insanity event, maybe even get a hotel like that, okay? And I'm talking to my guys about alcohol on New Year's Eve. I'm talking to my guys about drugs. I'm talking to my guys about doing stupid things. Ubering. I'm having every one of these conversations so nothing stupid happens to my hierarchy. Okay? Those are some of the things I would be thinking about. Okay? Those are some of the things I'd be thinking about. And then, having said all this stuff, let me see if I had any other items that are missing. No. Having said all this other stuff, I'll wrap it up with this. Guys, look, I said this on the Dream Team call, and I'm going to keep reminding you. 2019 is going to be very uncomfortable. You know how we say, I feel like I missed it already, Pat. I feel like I'm on behind the 8 ball. You're probably going to be right about that statement on December 21st, 31st, 2019. I'll say yes. I think you have. I'll say it. I'll tell you, you missed it. I will say it because this is the year. Let me explain to you what I mean by this. I don't mean somebody can't come and go to $5-10 million a year income. Here's what I mean by it. There's so many additional perks the next 18 months. So many additional perks, 18 months. So many of them. You know how many are on the verge of coming on board to PHP right now? Some of them will be direct to the company. Some of them won't be direct to the company. What do you think I'm looking at? You think I'm only looking at title? You think I'm looking at alignment, attitude, coachability? You think I'm looking at people that are just, just because of them? No. Who's running a $1 million point base shop? Who's running a calendar? Who's growing? Who's doing the right things? Who's wanting to go to the next level? It's a very next 12 months. Very next important 12 months. Very. 12 to 18 months. Very. This is going to be an awkward 2019. Income's going to be awkward. People who were nobodies are beating other chairman's councils. Newer MDs coming up, out earning people that have been around for 9 years. People who are making decent money right now, let's just say $500,000 a year income, they're going to start making $500,000 a month income. I think people are kind of starting to see what's going on with GEB and what that really means to some people. I spoke to the new MDs for Sapalas, direct to Avelars, Hispanic and Egyptian couple, really liked them. And speaking to them, and they made $31,000 their first month with PHP at a Sapalas organization. Pretty exciting to see what's going on right there. Brand new. What happened there? There's going to be a lot of that stuff taking place in PHP. This will be a very awkward year. My biggest hope for you is the following. Here's what you can expect from me. What you can expect from me is I'm always come a better version, but my edge doesn't go away because the vision is that big that requires my edge. This is not about lack of respect for you. I respect every one of our chairman's councils. I respect every single one of our SVPs. I respect our SMDs and EMDs. I respect our MDs. Every one of you guys became an MD. If we have 220 MDs that are watching this, you know how many people have quit? You are not a quitter. You've helped PHP get to where it's at today. If you're an SMD, you're one of few people that knows how to build 2 other MDs. If you're an SVP or up, you're 11 out of tens of thousands of people. You know how special that is. If you're a chairman's council, you're 6. When we did our conference, 5,000 people, there's only 6 chairman's council. You're one of them. Do you know how ridiculous it is what you've done? But I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for us finding out our capacity and our potential. And believe me, that we still haven't yet reached. We haven't yet reached. That's what I'm seeking. We do that, 100,000 people in attendance. We do that, 50,000 recruits a month. We do that, $10 million a year income. We do that, some of you guys 10, 20 years from now are going to make $40 million a year income. That's what this business was built for. And my hopes is there's a handful of you that are still watching this at this moment. And those handful of you that are obsessive, crazy, excited by your next year still watching this, My hopes are you took pages and pages of notes and you're so jacked up to have a killer 2019, to have an incredible Million Point Base Shop retreat, to make the Million Point Base Shop retreat your meeting where you ask the questions that you want to get addressed, where you get recognized as a person that asked the most questions at this event, regardless of your title, and you leave getting clear on what you need to be doing to have 2019 be the best year of your life. And I'm talking about all aspects, health, spiritual, financial, in every possible way. But I want to see you one time in one area of your life you become the best, and that being this industry that you're a part of. Anyways, you can expect the best from me. I'm going to wake up every day taking the accountability and responsibility of leading you and not making any dumb decisions as a CEO, because that's what you're counting on me to do, and I'm going to come through for you. I'm going to do my best to come through for you, and I expect the same from you. That's why I believe if we do that together, the world is ours. Anyways, I did go 50 minutes, but it's that important of a month because your big event's counting on it. I hope you watched the whole thing. If you did, send me a message saying I watched the entire thing and tell me exactly what you're going to be doing to make sure you have a killer December. Take care, everybody. Love you. Bye-bye.